Bears lose to the Packers again.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. And another painful loss to the Green Bay Packers as the Bears drop their 6th straight.
So much pain! So much pain!
And not only dropped their 6th straight, they dropped the record for most winningest franchise of all time to those Green Bay Packers, bruh.
Tinkleberg.
The pain is real.
So much pain! So much pain!
It is time for me to give my thoughts and my reaction as this Bears team drops to 3-10 on this 2022 NFL season with the 28-19 loss to those damn Green Bay Packers. But before I get into any of that, make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow and it beats the YouTube algorithm. And if you are one of those people that are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button and notification bell so you would not miss any of the content that I post. But it's time to talk the Bears. Without further ado, let's dive into it. So, this Bears team gave us a glimpse of hope yet again, and they really let us down. The first half, it was like the Bears offense was starting to find some rhythm. They were running the football very well. They even had the long touchdown run with Justin Fields. The Bears' opening drive led to a field goal, and that made it the 10th game this season with the Bears scoring on their opening drive, which is the most in the NFL. That was a surprising stat to me. And it was a good game defensively in the first half. They got some stops with Aaron Rodgers. They wasn't creating any pressure. That's something I'll get into later. For the most part in that first half, the Bears defensively was making some plays, making enough plays to keep the Packers out of the end zone. One thing about this Bears offense, and I started to see it, and the broadcast good enough pointed it out, they didn't run Justin Fields as much in the second half as they did in the first half. Him not gaining a single yard rushing in that second half. And that is a big part of why the Packers were able to come back in this ball game. It's almost like they took their own best element away from themselves, which was running Justin Fields. Now, of course, we all know about the shoulder injury. We all know about that. I'm not saying run him to death. That's definitely not what I'm saying. You didn't see a lot of those read options. You didn't see a lot of those zone reads. You didn't see a lot of that in that second half. Some of the play calling in the red zone in the second half was extremely questionable. One key to this game that I really figured that will factor into this game is a turnover battle, which is won by the Packers 3-0. The Packers did not turn the ball over. The Bears didn't force any turnovers, and the Bears turned the ball over. And it started with the Chase Claypool fumble on the reception when the Bears were starting to drive, and it looked like Justin Fields was really starting to get some rhythm throwing the football on that drive, and he got a nice ball to Chase Claypool, who ended up fumbling on the play. He ended up being hurt on the play, but he ended up fumbling. The one thing that I think really cost us in this game was the red zone possessions. There were 2 separate red zone possessions where the play calling was very questionable. You have deep shots and you go run. Even on a 3rd and 5 on that second one, you still run the football. You were close again before that in the first half, and you elect to still run the football. When a 3rd and 5 situation, get a nice pass. You don't have to get a touchdown, you get a first down. Now, if you're going to run the ball in that situation, and the Bears have been running the ball effectively pretty much all season. They ran the ball pretty well in this game. It's not what we expect or what we're kind of used to for this Bears team. They I just believe if you're going to run the ball in those situations, you're probably going to have a 4th down play to where you go for it. And for them to run the ball on 3rd and 5 or longer situations to kick field goals was extremely questionable to me. Now, speaking of field goal kicking, we had Cairo Santos not only miss an extra point, but get a field goal block. And it's looked like Cairo Santos has kind of been struggling over these past couple of weeks, whether it's been missed extra points or whether it's been mixed field goals. He has not been the automatic guy that we've seen for the majority of these last 2 years. Another thing that I want to talk about and touch on is another reason why the Bears ended up losing this game is the front 4 of the Bears defense was just creating absolutely no pressure. None. And that was one of the problems going into this game for this Bears team all season, and it showed up yet again. The Bears front 4 just cannot create a single bit of pass rush. Even when it was a blitz, Bears still didn't get home. And to leave a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers with that much time to sit in the pocket, especially against the young secondary, eventually at some point, that young secondary is going to get taken advantage of. Now, Aaron Rodgers himself did not have the greatest of games, going 18 for 31 with only 182 yards, but a touchdown pass. But the key, we did not make him turn the football over. Of course, turnovers were the key thing, I believe, in the Packers' comeback, and there was a key thing in the Bears not being able to hold on to the lead, was they just did not create any havoc. And on the other side, the Bears turned the football over. You cannot win games when you have a turnover ratio of 3-0, no matter how close it may be or how close the game is. Those turnovers play a huge factor as to winning and losing ball games, and that is just as evident as we've seen today. Now, I will give the Bears secondary some credit. There were a lot of injuries, whether it was Eddie, whether it was Khalil Gordon, whether it was Brisker. Those young players, Blackwell, Houston, Carson, Jalen Jones, they still played hard. And even Vildor was out for this game. So you have an extremely inexperienced and extremely young secondary outside of Jalen Johnson. And they, for the most part, held these Packers receivers. Now, one of the things that I did say in my preview video, I thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to pick this Bears defense apart. And I will give credit to Alan Williams and Matt Eberflus on the defensive side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers really didn't do that. Now, we all know Aaron Rodgers has the thumb and he has the rib injury. But we all know, despite whatever seasons he may have, he has owned the Bears. For him to not have such a great game, for the receivers of the Packers to not really explode like I thought they could have coming into this game, was a big credit to Eberflus in the secondary and Alan Williams. But where they did let up was in the running game, with A.J. Dillon having 18 carries, for 93 yards and a touchdown. And Aaron Jones did not play that big of a factor. He was dealing with some injuries during his ball game. But A.J. Dillon, not only in the receiving game with those checkdowns, but also in the running game, played a huge part in the Packers winning the time of possession and to the Packers sustaining some of those longer drives in the second half to keep the Bears offense off of the field. Because the Packers knew that their defense was kind of struggling a little bit, and they were running the football very effectively against a team that is ranked dead last against the run. Well, not dead last, but very close to last against the run. The Packers took some of the Bears' woes and they played them well. And I will give them credit for that, as much as it pains me to do so. The Bears on third down defensively, they were not getting off the field. And some of those third down conversions were leading into long drives, whether it was leading into touchdowns or leading into field goals. When you're not getting off the field on third down and you're not converting those for your offense to get back on the field with less of a lead or to make the Packers punt, you're eventually going to lose those ball games. Despite the Bears having a 54 to 46 percentage-wise as in third down efficiency, but on the defensive side of the ball, it was worse for the Bears than the offensive side of the ball, where the Bears started to convert some third downs into the second half. When you think about some of these efficiencies for the Bears, it's almost like the Bears kind of killed themselves in this ball game, whether it was the blocked field goal after the bad play calling, in my opinion, of Luke Getsy and his offense, whether it was the missed extra point that had it a 20-19, it could have had a 20-20 ball game. Instead, it was 20-19. It makes a difference when you're playing with the lead or when you're playing from behind. That makes a difference in ball games. When you think about it, this Bears team, they almost shot themselves in the foot. Now, penalties wasn't really a big factor in this ball game. The Bears have not been a heavily penalized team this season. And then it wasn't even any flags until the third quarter. So the Bears, for the most part, in the penalty-wise, played a clean game. But when they had those penalties, whether it was in the red zone with the Tevin Jenkins holding call, whether it was a Cole Kmet call, the penalties that were had were very costly for this Chicago Bears team. The deep ball to Harry and the deep ball that he had earlier to Eberflus St. Brown, that just shows that Justin Fields is really starting to get the deep ball accuracy there as an NFL quarterback. The only thing is some of the late game turnovers. Now, the first interception by Justin Fields, Eberflus St. Brown did not run a good route. Eberflus St. Brown just did not run a good route at all. He kind of shorted the route. He slowed on the route, and you cannot do that, especially when you're facing, I believe, one of the top 5 corners in the game in Jair Alexander. You just cannot do that. Even though Jair Alexander did get beat on both of the deep shots by Brown and a deep shot with N'Keal Harry, at some point you just can't do that. Run a slow route against a very good corner like that. And the second interception, I'm going to put it on Fields a little bit. I think most of it is on Fields for kind of trying to force something. But at the end of the day, you have to do something in order to escape the deficit, which was led up earlier by a Christian Watson reverse wide open touchdown to really seal the game for the Green Bay Packers. It really hurts to lose to the Green Bay Packers again. Now, a lot of fans I've seen draft pick. When it comes to this Green Bay Packers team versus Bears rivalry, I don't care about draft position. I can care less about that. Because when you're playing a rival in the Green Bay Packers, draft position just does not matter. When it's your rival, you want to beat them every time you step on the field with them, whether you're in a good situation or whether you're in a bad situation where the Bears are now and kind of where the Packers are now. It does not matter. You want to win that football game. And when you lose that football game for the second time this year, it hurts. I don't want to hear anything about draft position when it comes to this ball game in particular, because it does not matter. You want to win your rivalry whenever you step on the field with them. Draft pick this, draft pick that. Okay, cool. But you lost to the Packers twice. So that makes the season even worse. When you lose to your rivals twice when they're having a bad season, you're having a bad season, and you can't beat them. Still. So, either way it goes, Bears lose their 6th consecutive ball game to drop to 3-10 on the season, and they lose to the Packers again. But that's all I've got to say about this game. APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys leave this video a like, as it always helps this channel to grow. Comment your thoughts down below, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel with notification bell so you will not miss any content. But this one hurts. Signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bear down. Peace.
So much pain!